We're all out of voice. I gotta go back to Glasgow. I do it real good, don't I, hon?
I'm Zoe. I drink a cup of goat's milk every single day and I don't bitch about it.
And I'm Sam, also known as Rand's Hand, that goes on to have its own spin-off comedy on NBC.
This is Water and Shade, a show that literally nobody wanted or even asked for.
But this is the show you've been gagging for.
Bing bang bong, sing sang song, ding dang dong. What you gagging for?
Sam accidentally cut the part where we explain what the hell this is. So I will. This episode will look at the details and speculation we have about the Wheel of Time on Prime TV show. It is stupid and probably a lot will be wrong, but watch anyway because it is funny and you know you're gagging for any show news right about now.
No, we are not going to Bailon.
I almost said Brie. It doesn't make sense to go to Baerlon in this TV show. And think of how expensive each of the sets are. It's almost interchangeable with Whitebridge and with Caemlyn.
We never go back there in the series. Why would you build all these expensive sets that you will never use again? It makes no sense.
No, and you have to make them very visually different.
Absolutely. I also think that there's a lot of evidence that says we're not going to Baelon. Shortly after WoT on Prime announced that Kay Alexander would be playing Min, her agent put up in their 24-hour story on Instagram that Kay was in Prague filming her first day on the Wheel of Time set. And that was September, October time, literally right after she was announced. And it was very quickly deleted within an hour or so that she was not filming in the early episodes when they would have gone to Baelon. And I know people will say, oh, but they might film out of sequence. But what else happened around that time? We got those leaked set images of Rand in Shinar, if you remember, with the tiny bow that everyone lost their shit over. That kind of tells us whereabouts Min's filming actually is. And it doesn't look like it's Baelon. I think that's a very big key, a very big clue that Min is probably not going to be from Andor. And why should she be? I mean, you've got 3 girls and one of them's already the fucking princess of Andor. Let's get some culture up in here and have
yes,
have from somewhere else. Why the hell not? It doesn't make any fucking difference to the story where she's from.
Right.
Yeah. And Rafe also, he has these Q&As every so often on Instagram, and he said that, he was saying that, we probably have 4 locations. So let's think about that. Eamon's Field.
Yeah, 2 Rivers, Shinar.
We fully expect Caemlyn.
Gillidan.
And that's it. There's your 4 locations.
Yeah.
So I think Baelon is...
Oh, yeah.
That's my scissors.
Sheath the scissors. So this is a thought that I really appreciate. This is a thought I really appreciate. No bloody Tracans. What do you think?
No. I know people have argued and they've said oh, we're not going to go and see Caemlyn. We are going to see Caemlyn. We're definitely going to see Caemlyn.
Yes.
I don't think it's
necessary in the first season, though.
Oh, no, I disagree. Why would you cast Basil Gill if you're not going to Caemlyn? We have a casting for the world's sexiest innkeeper in Basil Gill. Basil Gill, Queen's Blessing, Caemlyn. Otherwise, you could just cast anyone. Why specifically Basil Gill unless you're not going to Caemlyn? You have to go to Caemlyn to meet Basil Gill.
I want to know why they're keeping Elaine so far under wraps then.
See, I think you can go to Caemlyn and not meet the Trankids. I think it's totally possible to do. Because if you think about it, what do we do in Caemlyn? We have kind of this first real introduction to Aes Sedai that aren't Moraine. And it makes sense to build Caemlyn right from the start because it's a city that will be used over and over again in the series.
Yeah. They have to, if they go to Caemlyn, they do have to introduce Elaine. because their whole relationship is predicated on the fact that she fell head over heels for this random ginger dude when he dropped into her garden.
I'm gonna argue that we're not gonna get Elaine in season 1, and it's based on something that Rafe said in one of his Q&As. He said that there are some characters that are main characters that won't appear in season 1 because their interactions are too brief, that it doesn't make sense to introduce them for one scene and then have them disappear until God knows when. And that is Elaine.
Again, it's keeping somebody on retainer. That's not going to happen.
It is.
For one scene and then be like, okay, see you in season 2. Like, you're going to get a recast.
That's very likely, especially if you get someone who suddenly becomes a star, like, during that period, because that happens.
Yeah.
You know, you might cast someone and then suddenly they become, like, major.
Like, you're going to be like, I don't need to touch this chicken shit gigs.
Yeah.
Well, that raises a question then, because there was a lot of speculation about who Helena Westerman is. And she fits that Elaine, but then we bring up her name. She is credited as Layla Ibarra.
Okay, yeah. Let's get into number 3.
Yes.
Because that is, we will meet Perrin as an already married man.
I have a big problem with this because I'm really tired of people moving a plot along for a male character by killing his woman. It is a laid out trope that I see all the time, and yes, I mean, even as a writer, I have used that too, but I don't like it. I'm really tired of it, and we need to get away from it.
Perrin already has a richness about his character. I don't really see why you need to add something this shit. Yeah, I was going to think of like a really clever word for it, but it's just shit and it's just gross and I'm just really not here for it. How do we actually know this? So Helena Westerman has been someone who's been floating around the WoT-verse for a while. We saw her at the table read. So we know she's in the first episode or first 2 episodes at the most. We also know that there was an article on Redanian intelligence, and they've released like a couple of these bit part actors, and they have been right so far. She's one of them that was listed on there, and they had like a screenshot from her resume that said that she's going to be in Wheel of Time on Prime as Layla Ibarra.
And she is very different to Perrin. She is a pretty blonde English rose kind of look, which, you know, Marcus Rutherford is not a pretty blonde English rose. That seems to be the consensus, that she is going to be a wife or a girlfriend. And the fact that unless you cut her in some way, you can't really further Perrin's plot the way it should be furthered, means that she's going to die horribly, which means that they're cutting out something really huge, which is you can have deep emotional relationships with people that you're not fucking. Like, I think that his losing his family is so much more deep and personal and important than using some sexy lamp and breaking her so that you can further, you know, give him some emotional depth, which I'm going to be really disappointed if they do that. But it kind of looks like they're going to do that. Number 4, let's talk about something really fun that I'm super excited about. It's going to get changed, and that is increasing Logain's screen time. Not only because he's super dreamy, but because his story is really interesting, and that is how we get a big punch of Ashaman realness when you don't know what the fuck Ashaman are, because they haven't been invented yet. But male channeler realness, that's what we need.
Even the Dragonmount prologue, the action doesn't happen then. It's a bunch of dialogue.
No.
And they're not going to get the attention of a bunch of brand new viewers by showing this little random village with everybody dancing around being happy.
It is that moment with like in the books and having the peddler, but you've just read this prologue and that's your link between the two. that's not going to transition in the same way on TV. It really isn't.
I think it'll be a good way to give them a taste of what citing madness looks like, because I think that you can give... I think there's some creative freedom there. Like, I know Logain doesn't truly, like, go crazy because he essentially gets gentled before he can, and then he gets back.
Well, and I think it'll build that worry of when Rand starts channeling, what that means, because it's such a danger, and you don't really see that. Like, everything is told to you, like, oh, this is dangerous. People die because of this. But you need to see it, like, even from the perspective of somebody who is captured. You kind of build that emotional, that emotional capital by having Logain. You're like, oh, I really like this guy. He gets gentled, that'll fuck you up because it fucks him up, and you don't realize how bad unless you actually know him.
Just show, don't tell. Like, this is them showing and not telling.
The thing is, as well, is this a change? Yeah, it is a change, but it's not necessarily new stuff. It's just stuff that happened off camera, so perhaps the book audience won't be too upset about that.
Yeah, it's just a moving stuff around, and I would love to see more Logain. He is a damaged, wonderful, interesting, sexy man, and I am totally okay with seeing more of him.
Let's go on to our final one, and this is number 5. A lot of people are going to cringe at this one, but I think Tam will die.
Yes, I do not cringe at that. I think wholeheartedly that is going to happen. And let me tell you why, because I can, in the first 15 minutes of any movie or show, I can tell you probably 5 things about what will happen in that show. But they are going to make some plan, and then he's going to die, because you don't make plans unless you're going to kill off a character. But I also know that this is going to happen because Michael Bolton is really fucking expensive.
Okay, the next time we see Tam is in book 4, and then the next time we see him is like, what, book 13?
Yeah, he doesn't show up very much.
Keeping an actor on retainer for that period of time is incredibly expensive and very hard to do. I don't see it happening. I really
15,
don't
18
see
seasons? Totally.
Yeah.
But I can see them because they cast somebody so high profile as Tam Althor, and there is a built-in way for him to die. They're not like, oh, we're going to shoehorn a reason for him to die. Like, he almost did. And it is tropey, but that's also just modern mainstream television and movies, is that they're going to kill off the very important people.
Yeah. Also, it kind of gives... losing this father figure, and he's not just a father figure for Rand, he is a father figure for Perrin and Matt as well. It's gonna create a different kind of bond between these 3 guys, which could definitely be a lot more interesting to watch on screen, to have that bond and then have it kind of ripped apart by these changes that happen to the characters. So, and also I think a lot of people will say, oh, well, there's that Zen Rand moment with Tam. But if you've created that nice bond with Matt or with Perrin, or even both, it could be replaced with them quite easily.
The Zen comes from within. Namaste. There was a Q&A where they said that some changes to the show left them in tears. I don't think that anything else on our list today has been enough to make that happen. You know, cutting out Caemlyn, cutting out, making Logain bigger, those aren't going to put you in tears. But if there is one universally, like, loved character, it's probably Tam. Because Tam's your dad.
Yeah.
And he's the dad we all need, and none of us deserve him. So...
So none of us get to have him.
Yeah. And I think that's perfectly good reason why they cast somebody so important, because then they don't have to pay him for very long. Michael Bolton, everyone!
Tell me, how am I supposed to live without you? I want to I'm just going to give a quick shout out to Andrew at Black Tower Pod, who actually came out with this idea that they would kill Tam, and I went, oh, yes, they fucking will.
I love
amazing.
him.
So
damaging emotional turmoil, and that would fuck me up.
So that's our top 5 things that WoT on Prime is gonna change from the books to the TV show adaptation. Do you agree with us? Do you think we are right? Do you think we're wrong? Tell us in the comments below. We will reply. So if you've enjoyed this video, please earn your G by liking and subscribing to our channel. You can check out all our links below, and you can also find us on Patreon if you want to watch some bonus footage.
Bonus footage. Until next time, may you always find water and shit. He's not gonna die, he's gonna be reborn. Rand doesn't come back as the Dragon Reborn, it comes back Lawrence Cheney!